Watch yourself for a moment. How often do you speak just to fill the silence? How often do you explain yourself to people who've already decided what you are? How often do you smile when your instinct screams that something's off? That isn't confidence. That's conditioned weakness. The world trained you to avoid tension, to obey emotional impulse, to seek peace instead of control. But here's the secret. Command isn't born from peace. It's forged in psychological distance, the ability to observe emotion without kneeling to it. Most people are slaves to their inner noise. They confuse reaction with thought, attention with respect, emotion with truth. But the few who master cognitive edge conditioning, they move differently. They think like architect of reality, cold, measured, untouchable. You felt it before. That presence in a room that needs no introduction, no explanation, no performance. That's not charisma. That's command. And by the time this video ends, you'll understand exactly how to build it. You'll learn 9 dark psychological principles that transform weak, reactive minds into commanding thinkers. People who naturally demand respect without saying a word. These are born from cognitive edge conditioning, the hidden discipline of emotional detachment, perception control, and behavioral dominance. Each one is dangerous if misused. Each one will change how others respond to your tone, your silence, your gaze. This isn't self-help. This is mental architecture. And once you grasp it, you won't just think sharper, you'll become psychologically untouchable. Before we begin, if you're ready to step beyond emotion and rebuild your mind for quiet power, subscribe and comment the word command. It tells me you're not here for entertainment. You're here for transformation, because this isn't motivational video. It's a psychological rewiring session. You're either conditioning your mind or being conditioned by others. Say this quietly. My emotions serve me. They do not control me. If you felt resistance when you said that, that's your conditioning showing. And that's exactly where our work begins. Now, you'll learn how power begins, not in action, but in the silence between thoughts, where control is born and weakness quietly dies. Number 1, the law of cognitive distance. Power begins when emotion is observed, not obeyed. Every person you've ever met is ruled by one of 2 forces, emotion or observation. Most people live as servants to the first. They move, react, and decide from pure impulse, believing that speed equals strength and expression equals authenticity. But there's a higher layer of thinking, a place above reaction, where emotion becomes data, not direction. This is cognitive distance, the separation between what you feel and what you choose. When you operate from this distance, you stop being predictable. You become unreadable. And in that silence, others begin to reveal themselves. Every person trying to provoke you, impress you, or control you exposes their mind to the emotions they fail to manage. Anger shows ego. Impatience shows insecurity. Flattery shows motive. The one who observes emotion, rather than obeying it, becomes a silent puppeteer of every room. Most people believe control means dominance. It doesn't. It means restraint, strategic, quiet, and absolute. The calm one controls the rhythm. The calm one defines the pace of the exchange. The calm one wins, without lifting a finger. The trial of stillness. He stands still. His silence feels like a presence. Heavy, calculated. Minutes pass. The other side falters, their confidence fading under their own noise. Then he finally speaks. Soft, precise, deliberate. The jury listens closer now, because silence built the tension. And when he broke it, his words carried the weight of control. That is the essence of cognitive distance. Not avoidance, not coldness. Command through detachment. When you can observe your emotions without identifying with them, you become a mirror. And mirrors hold power because they never chase reflection, they reveal it. Every argument, every negotiation, every emotional storm is a test of your distance. If they can make you react, they own you. If they can't, they'll orbit you. Try and understand how you remain untouched. That curiosity is the seed of respect. Distance doesn't kill emotion. It refines it. You still feel everything, but you choose what to feed. That's what separates those who rule their reality from those ruled by it. Say this. Out loud if you can. I feel deeply, but I decide calmly. Every time emotion rises, step back, not away. Step back within yourself. Observe it, dissect it, then decide, does this serve my purpose or my weakness? Every time you make that distinction, your mind hardens. Every time you hold silence longer than others can tolerate it, your authority grows. Because the world is addicted to reaction, and those who master patience become its quiet rulers. When you finally control the storm inside, the next step is learning to shape how the world sees a calm. Because control isn't complete until perception bends with it. Number 2, the law of perceptual framing. Reality bends toward the one who defines it first. Every interaction you enter is a battle of frames, invisible power structures that decide who leads and who follows. Most people don't even know these frames exist. They walk into conversations already trapped inside someone else's definition of reality. But the one who frames first, who defines a context, tone, and rules, quietly becomes the architect of perception. Both smile, but one's mind whispers, I am being evaluated. The other's mind whispers, I am evaluating. Same moment, different frames. One holds power. The first begins defensively, justifying his value, explaining his worth, speaking too soon. The other listens, unblinking, saying nothing. When he finally speaks, his tone is calm, confident, but detached. He doesn't argue. He reframes. He says, we're not here to discuss price. We're here to discuss potential. And instantly, the air changes. The anxious energy dissolves. The first man now dances inside the second man's frame without realizing it. Frames aren't just about words. They are about energy. If you walk into a room desperate to prove something, you're already inside someone else's definition of power. But if you walk in as though nothing can raise or lower your value, you define the air around you. People feel it. They start mirroring your rhythm, adjusting their tone, lowering their defenses. Not because you demanded respect, but because your composure implies it. This is why some people seem magnetic. They don't chase validation. They make others earn clarity. They speak less, but when they do, their words frame the reality everyone else accepts. When you meet someone for the first time, they are searching for cues, how to see you, how to rank you, how to respond. The human brain craves hierarchy. If you leave that undefined, it will assign you one, usually below those who act with greater certainty. So, define it first. You don't need arrogance. You need precision. Look, pause, speak slowly. Remove unnecessary words. Be brief but decisive. Your calm becomes context. Your tone becomes the definition of reality. And soon, the entire room begins to orbit your emotional gravity. Say this quietly to yourself. I define the frame. I am never defined by it. Every time you walk into a space, every message you send, every glance you hold, ask yourself, am I reacting to their frame or are they living inside mine? If the answer is the latter, you are already becoming dangerously valuable. Not because of wealth or status, but because you control the most powerful currency of all, perception. The world doesn't follow truth. It follows confidence. And confidence is built by those who decide what truth means before anyone else can question it. But once you learn to control perception, something deeper begins to happen. People start to mirror you. And soon, you will need to master the subtle art of shaping that reflection before it turns into imitation. Number 3. The law of emotional contagion. Emotions are viruses. The strongest mind infects the room first. You don't need to speak to control people. You just need to feel deeper and transmit slower. Every room you enter becomes an emotional ecosystem. And whether you realize it or not, you're either absorbing energy or radiating it. Most people absorb. They catch moods like colds, anxious when others are anxious, loud when others are loud, weak when others are weak. But the powerful? They infect. Emotional control is more than composure. It's contagion. It's the ability to make people feel what you want them to without a single word. When you are grounded in silence, others borrow your calm. When you are detached in chaos, others orbit your stillness. And when you are cold in conflict, others lose their fire trying to melt you. This is a law of emotional contagion. The quiet warfare of invisible influence. The silent room. It's not power that silences a room. It's energy control. People instinctively mirror dominant emotional frequencies. It's a neurological reflex. That's why your presence must always transmit signal, not noise. When you are reactive, others define your emotional rhythm. When you are deliberate, others sync to yours. That's the moment leadership is born, not when you speak, but when you control the emotional temperature before anyone else notices it changing. Every interaction carries an unspoken climate. Anxious, defensive, playful, serious. Whoever defines that climate controls the outcome. Want control? Don't match people's tone. Set it. If someone's loud, go quieter. If they're aggressive, go slower. If they're cold, become colder until they chase your warmth. Your emotions are a mirror they cannot escape. And the one who remains emotionally still becomes the one everyone else orbits. Emotional discipline isn't about suppression. It's about redirection. You're not killing emotion. You're mastering where it flows. Because when emotion moves through you without controlling you, it becomes energy, power, gravity. And people feel it before they understand it. Comment this: I am the calm in every storm. My silence resets the room. Feel that weight in your chest? That's control. Not over others, but over yourself. And once you master that, control over others becomes natural. Influence doesn't begin with words. It begins with energy. The one who feels least leads most. But control has a shadow. Once your calm begins to dominate others, you must learn how to keep it, even when people start bending their behavior around your presence. Number 4, the law of strategic silence. The loudest man in the room is always the weakest. Silence is the rarest form of confidence. It's not the absence of sound. It's the presence of power. Most people fear silence because it reveals truth. They speak to escape it. They explain, justify, and defend, all to hide uncertainty. But the powerful? They use silence like a weapon. Every pause becomes a test. Every unanswered question, a mirror. Every quiet stare, a challenge that only the insecure rush to fill. Silence exposes imbalance. The weak need noise to prove control. The strong, they don't announce their dominance. They let others reveal their weakness, trying to uncover it. This is a law of strategic silence, the art of creating psychological tension without aggression. It's the stillness that forces truth to surface. The silent negotiator. Most people negotiate by speaking. Masters negotiate by not reacting, because silence is pressure, and pressure reveals desire. Every second you remain quiet, you collect information, emotions, insecurities, tells. You'll see people start to talk faster, reveal motives, and betray their limits. All because they can't stand the weight of your stillness. Strategic silence doesn't mean being passive. It means letting others expose themselves before you move. It's patience with precision, stillness with intent. When you master silence, you become magnetic, not for what you say, but for what people feel when you don't. After someone finishes speaking, pause. Count 3 full seconds before replying. They'll expect instant reaction. When you don't give it, the silence multiplies their self-doubt. It makes them explain further, justify harder, reveal deeper. In that gap, you gain control. Every pause you own becomes psychological gravity. People lean in because they can't stand not knowing what's next. That's power, not in noise, but in anticipation. Type this in the comments. My silence speaks louder than their noise. If that line made you feel calm instead of small, you're no longer reacting to the world. You're controlling the rhythm of it. People remember silence longer than words. Because silence doesn't end, it echoes. But once you master silence, another form of control emerges. One that doesn't rely on stillness, but on how you direct energy when you finally decide to move. Number 5, the law of controlled energy. Power is not in movement, it's in restraint. Every powerful mind understands one principle. Control your energy, or it will control you. Energy is currency. The undisciplined spend it recklessly, on anger, on attention, on pointless arguments. The disciplined, they invest it. They know when to act, when to wait, and when to strike. You can feel it when someone's mastered this. They don't rush. They don't chase. They radiate a kind of still intensity that makes people hesitate before speaking to them. That's not confidence. That's controlled energy, the kind that intimidates without effort. Restraint is misunderstood. It's not suppression, it's direction. The moment you react emotionally, you spend energy that could have been used strategically. The moment you defend yourself unnecessarily, you give away power that should have been stored. True dominance isn't shown through constant motion. It's revealed through deliberate timing. Energy is like money. The one who spends less gains more control. When you stay grounded while others leak emotion, they owe you psychological debt. They've shown you their triggers. You've revealed none of yours. That's why in power dynamics, control always beats charisma. Charisma attracts people. Control commands them. In cognitive edge conditioning, your energy is treated like a weapon. You never swing it without purpose. Every reaction, every glance, every breath must serve a calculated outcome. That's how kings command armies without shouting. That's how leaders dominate rooms without words. Their energy announces their hierarchy before they even speak. Control starts with awareness. When your heartbeat spikes, slow your breath. When your thoughts race, lower your tone. When chaos rises, move slower. Each time you do, you send a signal to your nervous system and to everyone around you. I am not influence. I am the influence. This rewires perception. People begin to treat your stillness as power and your movement as prophecy. Comment this: I decide when to move. My stillness is my strength. If that line made you feel grounded, that's your nervous system learning dominance. Stay there. Don't rush. The world moves for those who don't. Control is not coldness. It's focus. And focus, when harnessed long enough, becomes a force that bends other people's emotions around yours. But control is useless if you can't command how others see you. And the next principle, it rewires perception itself. Number 6, the law of perception control. Reality doesn't need to be true. It only needs to be believed. Power isn't what you are. It's what others think you are. The human mind doesn't react to truth. It reacts to perception. And the most dangerous thinkers understand this. They don't waste energy proving who they are. They control what people see and let belief do the rest. You've met these people, the ones who never explain, yet always appear right. The ones who say less, but their words feel heavier. They bend reality by shaping attention. This is the law of perception control. Not about deception, about deliberate design. The weak chase understanding. The powerful build mystery. Because perception thrives in uncertainty. The less you reveal, the more they project. And projection is the most controllable illusion of all. When people can't define you, they overestimate you. Their curiosity becomes obedience. The architect of image. When you control your image, you don't need to defend it. People will defend it for you. They'll fill the blanks with assumptions, all in your favor. And once they start guessing your thoughts, you've already won. Because now, their behavior bends around the version of you they built in their mind. That's not manipulation. That's mastery. Perception control begins with intentional contrast. Speak softly when others are loud. Move slowly when others rush. Smile only when it means something. These subtle shifts create tension, and tension breeds fascination. Fascination breeds respect. Respect breeds obedience. Never compete for attention. Make them earn your reaction. Control what they see by controlling what you withhold. If people know everything about you, they stop thinking about you. But if they only know fragments, just enough to wonder, you stay alive in their minds. That's why power requires privacy. Not secrecy, mystery. Be seen strategically. Let them think they're decoding you while you're scripting their conclusions. When your image becomes deliberate, even silence becomes a message, and perception becomes your servant. Say this slowly with conviction. I control what they see and I decide what they believe. If you said that and felt resistance, it means you've been taught to seek approval. Let that conditioning die here. You don't need to be liked. You need to be remembered. Power is not who you are. It's the version of you they can't ignore. But once you master how others see you, there's a deeper game. One that isn't about image, but about how you move through systems, invisible, yet always in control. Number 7, the law of invisible leverage. The strongest influence is the one they never see coming. Power you can see is temporary. Power you can't trace is eternal. The world worships visibility, attention, status, noise. But the true architects of control never stand in the light. They pull threads in silence, invisible hands shaping visible outcomes. That's the law of invisible leverage. Influence so subtle, others believe they acted on their own. You don't need to be the one who speaks. You need to be the one who decides what gets said. The visible leader gets credit. The invisible strategist gets control. Most people crave recognition. That's why they lose it. They chase spotlight instead of shadow. They want to be seen, not remembered for what they caused. But the elite understand this. Attention is a distraction. Leverage is real. History remembers kings. But power belongs to the whisperers behind them. The unseen architect shapes decisions through emotion, through suggestion, through timing, not force. And because no one can point to him directly, no one can remove him. That's the brilliance of invisible leverage. When they think they're in control, yet every move they make serves your plan. Leverage is not control, it's placement. It's the positioning of your influence where effort becomes unnecessary. You don't overpower people. You redirect them. You design environments, options, and timing so they choose what you wanted all along. This is why you must stop arguing for power and start engineering it. Presence creates resistance. Absence creates speculation. And speculation breeds control. When you step back at the right moment, people fill your silence with respect, guilt, or fear, depending on what you condition them to feel. That's invisible leverage. You become the reference point they measure themselves against. Even when you're gone, you don't need to dominate the room. You need to design it so that your absence dominates them. Whisper this with intent. My power moves in silence. My influence needs no witness. Feel that quiet certainty? That's not ego. That's control without exposure. And once you master it, you become untouchable because no one can fight what they can't find. The greatest minds don't compete for control. They construct it invisibly. But once you can move the world unseen, the next step is darker. It's not about control anymore. It's about transformation. Number 8, the law of emotional containment. The one who controls emotion commands reality. Most people are ruled by the storm inside them. Anger, fear, desire, ego. They mistake reaction for strength. But every reaction reveals a weakness. True power begins when nothing external can shake your internal state. That's emotional containment. The ability to remain centered while the world tries to pull you apart. Control doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's the stillness that terrifies people the most. When you master your emotions, you become unreadable, and that makes you unpredictable. No one can manipulate a person who refuses to emotionally engage on command. You disarm their tactics without saying a word, because people expect reaction, and when they don't get it, they crumble. The power of emotional restraint. Restraint isn't weakness. It's containment. Energy preserved, redirected, refined. While others waste emotion on anger or envy, you store it like fire beneath ice. You choose when and where to release it. If ever, this calmness unnerves emotional people. They begin to question themselves. Why can't I affect him? And that doubt becomes your leverage. Because the moment someone questions their emotional power over you, you've already won. The mirror effect. Humans mirror energy subconsciously. Show anger, they return it. Show fear, they dominate. Show calm, and they submit. Because your energy exposes theirs as unstable. That's why kings, CEOs, and manipulators all learn the same art. Never let them see emotional imbalance. Even in chaos, your tone must be measured, your expression controlled, your decisions deliberate. The calmer you are, the more others reveal themselves. And once they're exposed, you can lead, misdirect, or dismantle them. Emotion makes people fast. Containment makes you precise. And precision always wins. Type this now. My emotions serve me. Nothing controls me that I do not allow. Feel that? That stillness isn't emptiness. It's dominance turned inward. When you can contain the storm, you dictate the weather of every room you enter. The world bends for those who cannot be bent. And once your emotions obey you, everything else will. But mastery over emotion is only half the equation. Soon, you'll learn how to project that calm, so others willingly surrender their will to yours. Number 9, the law of silent command. Power isn't declared. It's felt. You've met them before. The ones who enter a room and instantly alter its temperature. No noise. No announcement. Yet every eye shifts toward them. That's not charisma. It's silent command, the final expression of inner control. Because once you master emotion, energy, and perception, you no longer need to prove power. You embody it. The difference between attention and authority is silence. Weak people fill silence with noise, explanations, defenses, nervous laughter. Powerful people weaponize it. They know silence creates tension, and tension creates control. When you stop trying to be heard, people start listening. Every move you make, every pause, every word you don't say, transmits dominance. Your calmness becomes contagious. Your silence becomes a mirror that amplifies other people's insecurity. They fill it with nervous chatter, over-explaining and justification, while you simply observe. And as they scramble to fill the void, you quietly decide who holds the real control. Human beings fear uncertainty. The less they can predict you, the more they respect and obey you. That's why silence and mystery are two sides of the same weapon. Be seen less, speak less, react less, because when your actions are rare, they carry 10 times the weight. People project power onto what they cannot understand. Your silence lets them imagine your strength, and that imagination is often stronger than truth itself. To command others, first command stillness. Let your calmness feel inevitable. The moment they begin to anticipate your words, your tone, or your next move, you've already won the room. Because in a world addicted to noise, silence is the loudest form of dominance. Whisper this. My silence speaks louder than noise. My presence commands without effort. Let that sink in. This is no longer about pretending to be powerful. This is about becoming the stillness that others orbit around. You've stopped chasing validation, and now validation chases you. You've moved through perception, control, emotion, and silence. What remains is the essence of command. Not what you do, but what you are. The untouchable, the unreadable, the calm force the world can't ignore. Now that you've mastered control, distance, and presence, the question isn't whether you can influence others. It's whether anyone will ever truly be able to influence you again. Now pause, not to think, but to feel the difference. The person who began this journey was reactive, searching, uncertain. The person standing here now moves through the world differently. No longer desperate for approval. No longer chained to emotion. No longer afraid of silence. You've stepped beyond reaction into architecture. You think deliberately. You observe without being pulled. You act only when it serves your command. That's the quiet evolution of every powerful mind. It doesn't announce itself. It arrives. You've internalized 9 dark principles, each one a fracture in conditioning that kept you ordinary. You learn to detach before reacting, to watch your emotions without kneeling to them, to project energy instead of chasing it, to hold presence until others fold beneath the weight of their own noise. You become the mirror, and the world now reflects your state of mind. This is what cognitive edge conditioning creates. A mind that doesn't beg for control, it radiates it. A presence that bends tension instead of breaking under it. Most people spend their lives reacting to the world. You've learned to make the world react to you. Whisper this, as if sealing a vow with yourself. I am no longer moved by noise. I am the calm that moves others. Let that line sit in your bones, because this Right now is the moment your conditioning reverses. The old mind dissolves. The new one commands. If this journey changed the way you think, even slightly, then you've already crossed the threshold most never reach. Comment the word untouchable, because that's what you are now becoming. And if you want to continue this transformation, to go deeper into psychological warfare, persuasion, and cognitive command, then subscribe. Not to follow, but to sharpen, to evolve, to remember what others forgot. Power isn't given, it's conditioned. You began as a reactor, you end as a commander. The world won't understand your calm. They'll call it arrogance. They'll call it coldness. Let them, because those who misunderstand your silence were never meant to hear your voice. Command begins when the noise ends.